Hello and welcome to a special episode on the GreatTipOff.com YouTube channel. Of course, we are privileged to be joined by none other than David Gately from Sky Racing. G'day, Gator.
Hello, mate.
Good to have
It's
you aboard. Gee whiz, what a big weekend of racing we have.
well, if you're a Sydney and Melbourne racing fan, and I love them equally, it's like having two wives, right? But there's probably no better race day. The way that Everest has evolved and become the race it is, and the Caulfield Cup's obviously been going 1,000 years, so can't wait for it.
Yep, huge racing. As you mentioned, the Caulfield Cup, obviously the Everest and King Charles, which is going to be a big race as well. We'll cover all three of those meetings, of course. And if you never want to miss any of our stuff, simple subscribe down below, click the button, away you go. As simple as that. And you'll get these episodes as soon as they land. Righto, Gator, we'll head to Sydney, mate. Track's currently a soft 5 up at Royal Randwick. Rails in the true position, I believe. There's probably 1 to 15 mils of rain forecast this Friday, which will mean we're anywhere between a good 4 and a soft 6. How do you see the track playing, and what do you think we'll be racing on?
Yeah, look, I'd love to have a job where you can predict the future and not be held accountable, which we sort of do have.
We
But
kind of
to
do.
to some extent, we're held accountable. But yeah,
Especially on Twitter.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, 1 to 15 is a fair band, isn't it? But
yeah, yeah.
anyway, they're doing their best, right? But the track itself, look, credit to all involved. I mean, I'm as quick as anyone to label a track pattern, and I think punters need to be protected as best they can. But these Sydney tracks have been playing amazingly well. So we've got the True Rail in 3 metres last meeting here, played perfectly. True Rail prior to that, again, no pattern evidence. So if we get that rain, they'll probably edge off the inside. But other than that, we have to give credit. It's been a fabulous race.
Yeah, but it's always great for racing as well when there's no irrigation, right? And Mother Nature sort of plays its part, and there's no real lanes, present. So that's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that. Let's break down the Everest. Great race. You could almost throw a blanket over them as they line up on paper. This speed map's intriguing to me. Gator, you had Joe Pride come out and say that they're going to be positive on Private Eye. You've got a few key speed influences, Lady Camelot drawn out wide, and then you've got Growing Empire, Stormboy, and I Am Me all drawn well. How do you see the speed of this race, and who's favoured by this speed map?
Yeah, so look, the way I'm reading it, I expect Stormboy to lead if he jumps cleanly. Tempo, I've got below Group 1 average, but not by a long way. I think Growing Empire can go up and sit second. I Am Me probably holds the inside. I don't think Private Eye's got the toe to match them, the first 400. I think they can go forward without being right with them. Lady of Camelot, she's just lost her early speed. I don't know where that's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to losing all my overall speed, but I don't know how that's come about. But just as she's gotten a bit older, she's lost that bit of early dash. So I still think they'll be positive, but I don't think she can outright lead them unless they really, get into her.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hearing out of the stable that the potential or the most likely scenario is that they will try and take a sit and, ride it to finish off the race. Profiles for this race, is there anything that sort of stands out for you this year? Is it a new kids on the blocks kind of, set up for you? Do you think that they have the upside, sort of enough upside coming into this race, or do you think it'll be the old sort of stayers that will, old timers that will hang on?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and I'll tell you straight after the race whether I'm right. I think it's a year for the 3-year-olds. I've got them 1-2, and the reasons are, look, they were really competitive in the race last year, the 3-year-olds. I think this crop's better, and I think the older crop are inferior to where they were last year. So it's probably as simple as that.
Yeah.
I may be oversimplifying it, but what I will say on top of that is there aren't any horses in this race I could put the pen through and say can't win. So, I don't have Steffi Magnetica top 6 nor Stormboy, but they could win,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I wouldn't faint. So a lot of different opinions, a lot of different angles, but that's the way I'm going to play the race and put my money where my mouth is. And if I'm right, I'll be richer.
Great betting race. Odds courtesy of Tab. I Wish I Win, $6. Jolly Star, $6. Growing Empire, $7.50. Traffic Warden, $7.50. Bella Nipotina, $9. Sunshine in Paris, $9.50. Stormboy, some support, $12. Longer the rest. we speak of horses like Stephanie Magnetica and Stormboy, two sort of value runners in there that are sort of outside of your numbers. Is there anything at significant value here? Do you think the market's missed at all?
No, I don't think so. Look, if I was framing a market, I wouldn't be far off that, and let the punters decide, right?
Yeah.
Because, I was just saying on radio, if I lined up 100 people, I reckon there'd be 50 different, not only views, but 50 different angles to the race. Not only, result, you can only tip one on top, right? But
Yeah.
they'd have a myriad of different combinations with the way they're reading the track or the outcome. Look, I don't think that answers that. I think that if I was putting my money up as a bookie, I wouldn't be far off that market. I'd be playing a high percentage, and I'd be letting the punters come at me and back their judgment.
Right, mate. That's what we've all been waiting for. Give us your top four for the Everest 2024.
Look, I'm going to stick with Growing Empire. I've been with him all prep. I think he was the best run in the race in the Manikato. His inexperience around the valley cost him the race. I think he still beat I Wish I Win, quite clearly, despite all that. He's got to go the other direction. He's deep into a prep, but I think he can run really well in the race. I think he can track Stormboy if he's got something to chase and not get to the lead too soon, where he tends to float a little bit and wait for him. I think that's the ideal scenario for him to run really well. Traffic Warden's my second pick, another 3-year-old. Ran over Stormboy first up, touched off by broadsiding back to 1200. I think he's much better than the Godolphin 3-year-old that nearly won this race, or beaten a length and change last year. So they're the two I've gone with. Of the older horses, Jolie Star, I think, can bounce back.
Yeah.
Dynamite return, then a bit flat second up. They've spaced her run this time. I think that's a smart play, kept her fresh. And Sunshine in Paris, who beat her last time, is next best. So that's my top four. Again, I'll be putting I Wish I Win Bella in the quaddie, but can't have them all on top.
It's an intriguing setup, isn't it? Because, you talk about a horse like Jolie Star, who was dynamic, produced probably that brings the best figure into this race of horses that have run this preparation, and then failed. I thought was a pretty fast tempo and was beaten by Sunshine in Paris. And now Sunshine in Paris is given the freshen and she's longer. So you could draw as many lines through this race as quickly as you could rub them out. It's intriguing. I cannot wait for it. It's going to be a ripping edition of this year's Everest. Sure, probably not the best horses lining up, but probably the most even Everest I've seen. Would you agree with that?
No, I would. Yeah, I think I could probably make a really similarly equal case to my top pick as my 8th pick, right? So, give us strength. We'll see how it plays out. I certainly can't wait for it.
Beautiful. Let us know who you like in the comments below. Let us know who will be winning the Everest. Give us your top 3. See if you can get the job done. We might even send you a prize as well. Hey, Gator, let's go to the King Charles Stakes. This is a really, really intriguing race for mine. We're out to the mile this time. You've got Pride of Jenny, who over the 2,000 meters last time we saw her up here at Roundwick just gapped them. Was that, sure, that's just her racing pattern. Was there some jockeys half asleep? Sure, maybe a combination of both. But now you've got a horse like Major Bill. Zugotcha's probably coming out, but Major Bill and Pericles, it might be able to give a horse like Fangirl a bit of a toe into the race. So how do you see the map here in the King Charles?
Yeah, look, what Pride of Jenny runs well above Group 1 average every time she races, and it's her best weapon, her best chance of success to use sustained speed. So they're not going to shy away from that, are they? Major Bill can't match her early, but he'll probably be sitting a clear second. And then it's up to Fangirl and maybe even Amelia's Jewel to try and reel her in. Of course, Amelia's Jewel was able to beat her last prep at 1600 in track record time at the Valley. So I don't think she's out of it. And Fangirl, she'll get clear running, something that's deserted her throughout her career. And her overall record should be better than it is, I think. I think she's a genuine star. So she'll set sail out after Pride of Jenny. Can she get there in time? Well, we'll soon know.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, how quickly we forget that Amelia's Jewel went around the Valley and beat a horse called Pride of Jenny. And at which point we said, oh, well, she's going okay. She only beat Pride of Jenny. And then that preparation, Pride of Jenny came out and stamped herself as one of the best horses in this country. So it's an intriguing race. I can't wait for it. We have talked on the main chances there. Do you give the horse, of the likes of Chow Wolf any chance? Pretty impressive last time around at the mile here. Chad Schofield, good draw. What's your opinion on this horse?
Yeah, I think he and Tom Kitten were probably equally, probably 8 or 9 out of 10 runs in the Epsom. The challenge for them is pretty obvious that they find a really fast run race at weight for age. So, they've got to come up in the weights against better opposition. So that's the challenge for them. I think they'll run well without winning.
Beautiful. Give us your top four in the race, mate, and a reason why.
Yeah, I think Fangirl can reel her in. I had trouble with the race. I'm a huge Pride of Jenny fan, especially 1600. This her perfect sort of wheelhouse, and she just beat Antino attrition, didn't she? How good does that form look? Beat Brightside, but Fangirl is a genuine star. She'll relish the tempo. She'll have clear running, and then if she's good enough, she'll win. Amelia's dual third pick, and in the wider quaddie, I think if there's I think she's over the odds given what we've touched on, that she's been able to beat Jenny before, and she was hot favourite that day, and the price differential now is massive.
Yeah, love it. That's it for Sydney. Best bet. Given the fact you're pretty keen on growing Empire, I'd imagine that Southport Tycoon might be a horse in your numbers in the Sydney Stakes. It's a horse I've certainly found this week. Are you keen to back that runner?
Yeah, that's a really challenging race, the Sydney Stakes. My concern with Southport Tycoon, and I get a lot wrong, is just staying at 1200 one more time. He had the gap between runs last time, and he had enough zip in his legs. Now 2 weeks between runs. I just wonder if they'll be a bit slick for him. But if I'm tipping Growing Empire to win an Everest, obviously he's going to be hard to beat. I think there's a couple of good roughies in that race. Mumbai Muse, I think, can run well back to 1200. She's near 20-1, and both King of Sparta and the other one at a price was Arkansas Kid. So it's a race I'm looking to play some exotics. We've got the Whirlpool in action, of course. So Quinella and Trifecta players on Saturday should be rewarded if they can nail it.
Yep, looking forward to that. That should be great. Great initiative there. And yeah, good to see some plenty of money in those markets there. Right, let's head down to Melbourne. Caulfield Cup day. It's going to be a great day down there. How does this track play after what we saw on Saturday? How does it play? Obviously, they race there on Wednesday. I'd imagine there'll be some bit of chopped up areas near where the rail was sort of in the true now out by 3 or 4, and then there'd be some lanes further out where the racing was on Wednesday. What do we see here on Saturday?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a movie we've seen before. So, look, I'm expecting nothing like what we saw last Saturday. And look, I've seen more savage patterns, make no mistake. But in my humble, it was definitely an advantage to be up and inside, but respectful of all opinions. Wednesday, rail out 12 played well, and here we are back in now. So I'm expecting A, run-ons to get their chance, and B, edging off the inside as the day wears on, especially with the rain about Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, you're spot on with your comments in regards to you've seen worse. There's been plenty worse week in, week out. I think it was only 3 days ago at Randwick, on the Randwick Kensington, about 5 winners led and won and didn't hear boo. So, we can pick and choose when we blow up as punters, but we are focusing on the Caulfield Cup. Duke de Sesso's changed horse now with as it come back as a gelding. He's rolling more forward in his races. Deny Knowledge, Elias, Land Legend look to be the speed influences. How do you see the speed map here in the Caulfield Cup?
Yeah, I think Deny Knowledge's best chance of success, similar to Pride of Jenny. I think she's a poor man's Jenny. Is running along and above Group 1 average speed. That's exactly what she did in the Might and Power, and she beat Mr. Brightside by a similar margin. Jenny did the start prior, so she's going super. The problem with her is she doesn't always turn up, but when she does roll along at that speed and she's left alone, she's a really good mare. She's run well at the 2300 and change. I think you've mentioned the other on-speed runners there. Elias will certainly go forward from that draw. I don't think they have any choice. They'll be mindful, though, at the back end of 2400 with him. But he's certainly one that will go forward. There's one I'm missing. Duke de Sessa you've mentioned. So he's one that's been going really well ridden that way. So I don't know why they would desert those tactics. And he gave Elias a real race last time.
Yeah, he certainly did. Odds courtesy of Tad Buckaroo, $4.40, Land Legend $6, Elias $7.50, Zardozi $7.50, Deny Knowledge $11, Warmonger $13, gets out to sort of Duke de Sessa $19 along with the rest. So I imagine the weather's going to play its part here, Gator. There's a couple of horses, we just have to mention Zardozi, Deny Knowledge. Their prices will probably change whether it's wet or dry. Do you think we'll get to a rain affected surface given there's 5 to maybe 15 or 20 mils of rain forecast on Friday?
Yeah, 20 is going to have an impact, isn't it? And
Mm.
Saturday, I'm just seeing 17 degrees. So no real rain about Saturday, but just no real drying weather, I guess. But certainly not frigid either. So, look, I've worked on about a soft 5, give or take a braiding point.
Beautiful. Right, give us your tips and how you're going to play the Caulfield Cup.
Look, I gave Buckaroo life last prep, but he's a different horse this time in as a gelding. His run in the Turnbull was fabulous. He actually ran past Vera Sistina, and her will to win kicked in, and was able to get the upper hand. He ran by Elias, who had been flying. He ran by Duke de Sessa. I think he's the obvious, and I think he's really backable in the race. Suited to a handicap. His one go at 2400. He was terrific in the Tancred, a fast run race. He was second quickest home, which allayed any fears I had of the 2400. Add to that, he wasn't gelded then. Zardosia had was the danger. She was excellent in the Metrop, given the early work she did. Bit of rainabout's only a plus for her. She has a relative weight swing on Land Legend, who's certainly in the game for me as well. He's just a different horse at staying trips, isn't he? I think Muramaster's the best roughie. Tab went up 40 to 1 him. Warmonger, Elias, they're next. But that's my top 4. Buckaroo on top with Sardozi, Land Legend, Dangers, Muramaster the roughie.
Love that. Hey, Gator, if any listeners out there want to get your full set of tips at greattip-off.com, search David Gately. It's as simple as that, and you will get Sydney, you'll get Melbourne, you'll get it all. He's flying. Make sure you join in. And hey, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. And best of luck on Saturday.
Pleasure, mate. And good luck, punters.